Hi everybody, continuing to set up my local development environment. I have showed you how to follow the documentation to install the compile time dependencies as well as some of the runtime dependencies. We have already cloned the repository, configured the SDK manager, we have installed SVT, we have installed Node version manager with the necessary settings for picking up automatically the node version required by the project. We have set up Yarn and we have completed the compilation, which has worked like a charm. Then related to the runtime dependencies, we are missing to install Postgres. We have already configured directory environment, and I have proceeded to download IntelliJ, which I need to configure if I want to work smoothly on a Scala application. So let me go to the download where I have this IntelliJ application, and I'm going to extract it. It will take a few minutes. Well, minutes it's too much, it should not take longer. And we are going to launch it from the terminal, and we are going to open the project so that you see how the Scala plugin is configured and some basic hints on how to use IntelliJ. So we have this directory and we have this binary folder where we have the idea.sh, the shell script, which is used in order to launch IntelliJ. But before that, the way that I recommend you to work is don't pollute everything on your downloads folder. Just take this out, create another directory, like call it tools, for example. If we create this, call it tools, and we have the IntelliJ directory file, we can keep it a little bit more organized. So I'm going to rename this just to idea, and we have the binary directory. How do we launch it? I'm going to open a terminal, and I'm going to hit tools, idea, binary, and then I can run idea.sh. Still, remembering this can be super annoying. Instead of doing this, we can actually define an alias like this. Alias idea equal to this directory, Ctrl+Shift+C, Ctrl+Shift+B, and instead of the current directory, we need to say that, okay, at the home, then tools, then idea, then bin idea is going to be an alias. And if I do idea, then this is going to open the IntelliJ application right from the terminal. I don't want to share statistics. This is launching. And then I bet that you do not want to be doing this every time you start your shell. So for avoiding that, I'm going to open another terminal, and I will go editing my C# resource file, go up to the bottom, and then I'm going to define the alias automatically right here. Then if I save this file and exit, I'm going to exit IntelliJ2, quit. I'm going to close this terminal. I'm going to open it again. Voila, idea is there. Far simpler than polluting your path. This is super useful, and I recommend you to use the idea command line instead of installing a Fadescope application or a shortcut, because this will help you if you eventually need to provide some environment variable to IntelliJ, and it will be far simpler than providing it directly into the daemon or the desktop project. So for importing the project, some people get confused because they believe that they need to create a new project or click on import, but the truth is that you will only click on the open. We are going to find the directory containing the project that we had downloaded before, Wiringbits and Scala web application template. We are interested at the folder that includes the build.svt file and nothing else. We are not opening neither web, server, or library, nothing. We need the top level project that contains the build.svt. So I'm going to launch this. In this particular case, I trust the project, so I'm opening it, and it will eventually complain because IntelliJ does not have the Scala plugin just yet. I need to install it. So give it some time. And there is also another detail that I forgot to mention. Before you load a project with IntelliJ, it is strongly recommended that first you had been able to successfully run svt compile. This is going to save quite a lot of time, and this is going to also prevent you from getting into weird errors with IntelliJ. So given that we executed this command in a previous session in another video, this is going to be super fast. It takes some seconds only, or well, less than a minute. And then IntelliJ claims to be indexing everything. Let's see how it goes. Apparently it's working, but let's see and try opening a file right here. I'm going to open a controller. And then this has complained because there is no Scala plugin installed, but this is suggesting me to install extension. So if I go right here, I choose the Scala version, I will click on OK, and after a couple of minutes I will have the Scala plugin installed, which will be able to work with IntelliJ so that we get auto completion and other details. There is a need to restart the IDE to take changes into effect. Give it some seconds. This is opening the project again, and this has detected that we are using the Scala format. Scala FMT is the project that is the most popular for auto-formatting the code in Scala projects. It's related to this file scala fmt.config, and yes, I want to enable Scala format in this project, so I am going to enable that. And this also mentions that it has found a build script from SVT, and I also recommend you to do this because this works pretty nicely with IntelliJ. So I am going to load the SVT project. Give it some time, and this is claiming to have some pre-shaded indexes, so I will allow downloading to speed up everything. And IntelliJ uses to give you some tips. I don't care about this one right now. I don't care about this one about SVT right now. This is going to take a while. This is complaining that the JDK is not defined, so I need to set up JDK, and this is suggesting me the JDK that we have installed previously with SDK Manager. So I am going to use this from my directory, and that's it. Let's see what's happened here. This is complaining about something which is pretty common, so I am glad that we were able to see this problem, because some people get confused or frustrated when IntelliJ is not working the way we expect. So let's find a way to solve this while recording the video so that it can be useful for future reference. Give it some time to the JDK to be indexed, and it has been done now. And I bet that the problem was because there was no JDK selected before. So this is now complaining because there is no Scala library specified. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm going to restart the IntelliJ session. Usually, when you get such an error, the simplest thing to do is to delete the .idea directory that gets created at the project itself. So I'm going to delete it, and then I'm going to launch IntelliJ again, which is going to re-import the project. Now this is asking me whether I will use SVT or BSP. BSP works, but in my experience, when you are using IntelliJ, it's far simpler to use SVT. Unless SVT doesn't work, I will recommend you to use BSP. But for most projects, that's not necessary.